You're sitting in the movie theater, watching the latest sci-fi action film. The screen is filled with images of an intense space battle. The theater echoes with the sound of otherworldly noises as ship engines roar and whine. Lasers hum with energy and your seat rumbles as spacecraft explode left and right. The experience nearly overwhelms your senses of sight and hearing. But if you were really able to watch the battle in person, would you be able to hear anything at all? So, can we humans hear in space? You've probably heard that space is a vacuum. A true vacuum refers to the complete absence of matter, but how can space be a vacuum? Space contains stars, planets, asteroids, moons, and comets, just to name a few cosmic bodies. Isn't that a lot of matter? How can space contain all these massive bodies and still be a vacuum? It is because space is big. Between these large objects are millions of miles of emptiness. This empty space, sometimes called interstellar space, is practically devoid of all matter, so it's effectively a vacuum. Sound waves can travel only through matter. Since there's almost no matter in the interstellar space, sound can't travel through it. The distance between particles is so great that they would never collide with each other. Even if you could get a front seat for the explosion of the Death Star, you would not hear anything at all. We're lucky that that's the case, because otherwise the sound of the sun would roar at an impressive 100 decibels to us on Earth, like hearing a rock concert all day, every day. Technically, you could argue that there are ways a human could hear in space, and let's address a few scenarios. Radio waves can travel through space. So if you're wearing a spacesuit that contains a radio unit and one of your buddies sends you a radio message that there's pizza in the space station, you'd be able to hear that. That's because radio waves are not mechanical, they're electromagnetic. Let's say you're drifting through space while wearing a spacesuit and you accidentally bump your helmet into a Hubble Space Telescope. The collision would make a sound that you could hear even though you're in space. That's because the sound waves would have a physical medium to travel through, your helmet and the air inside your spacesuit. You'd still be surrounded by a vacuum, so an independent observer would not be able to hear anything at all, no matter how many times you rammed your head against the satellite. So, despite the wisdom of Hollywood filmmakers, it is impossible to hear noises in space. We suggest that the next time you watch a science fiction film, you plug up your ears whenever anything happens within the vacuum of space. It will make the film seem more realistic and probably work as a great conversational topic with your friends once the movie is over.